Don't stress, live life one day at a time. Don't drink or drug and you'll be fine.
Welcome back to Staying Sober with Papa Joey. Today we're going to take a break from going through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. When I do the next podcast, it'll be step 5, 6, and 7. They all tie in together, so I'm going to do all 3 in one video. Today, though, I want to talk about, once again, I keep getting all these pop-ups on my Facebook page about sober coaches. There seems like there's a new one out there every single day or every other day. And it's the same old thing. AA didn't work for them. The treatment center didn't work. Their church didn't work. Or rational recovery didn't work. But they figured out a new way of getting sober and staying sober. And they want you to follow them and learn from them. Of course, it's going to cost you a few bucks. They pay a marketing agency, a lot of money to hype them up, to make them sound really good, make them sound really smart. But here's what I always say to the smart people out there. When they tell me they went to AA and they just couldn't keep sober, I always would say, well, what part of the first drink will get you drunk you didn't understand? Or what part of when you walked into the AA room, knowing that for whatever your reason is, that you can't put alcohol in you, that you didn't understand? What part of AA when somebody in the room said, if you're thinking about picking up a drink, call somebody, ask for help. There's somebody there. What part of that didn't you understand? And it was always dead silence. Well, you know what I mean, all those 12 steps you got to do. And, they want you to go to meetings every day. I said, hold on. Okay? The main thing about getting sober and staying sober is you don't put a drink in you. Like, what do I always say here on my podcast? Don't drink or use no matter what. And no matter what means no matter what. So all it tells me is when a person goes out drinking again or drugging again, that they made a choice to pick up a drink. Now, I'm not going to say it's good or bad. For some people, it's very bad. And for some people, it caused their death. But that's the reality of it. The person chose to put a drink or a drug in them. They knew there were other alternatives than to do that. They chose to put a drink or a drug in. Now, when I do these podcasts, I take it seriously. I know how alcohol affected my life and how much time I wasted because of my drinking and some opportunities that I blew because of my drinking and some relationships, of course. And I don't want to go back and do that again. I shared on other podcasts, I had a daughter, my oldest daughter, died 4 years ago of a drug overdose. And every day I think about her, and I think about her constantly when I do these podcasts. So this is important to me. This isn't a joke. There are people out there that are looking for help. You have to be willing to listen. And maybe sometimes, go through some challenging moments sometimes, where it's uneasy, or that a drink or a drug can help you get through whatever you're going through, for a brief period of time. You have to learn that that's not the answer. And I know for a fact, after spending plenty of time in the rooms of AA, they always preach, reach out to somebody. Don't pick up that first drink. So if you pick up the first drink, you get drunk again or high again, it's all your fault, nobody else's. If you go to a treatment center and you spend 30 days, 60 days or whatever, get yourself clean, sober, get out, maybe go to some meetings, everything's going fine, but for whatever reason, you chose to pick up. How the hell are you going to blame the treatment centers for that? It ain't the treatment center's fault. You chose to pick up a drink or a drug again. Same thing if, I know some people who went to church and did an altar call and, wanted to live the right way, but they chose to pick up a drink again. Certainly can't blame the church for that, right? There was people there that were willing to help you. There's always help out there if you really want it. I went to AA. It's probably 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer, quite often. I met some really nice people there. I enjoyed some of the conversations. A lot of stuff I didn't agree with, but that's okay. But one thing I understood was I can't put the first drink in me. So I don't drink no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. And just like everybody else, I had shit going on in my life where I really wanted to pick up a drink. I wanted that escape. And I could have done that. I could have picked up a drink. Now, I'm not special. All I did was think about why I walked into that room of AA and all the shit that happened in my life prior to that. So I realized if I picked up a drink, I'm going right back there. Okay? And I didn't want to do that. So sometimes I made a phone call, reached out just to talk to somebody. Other times I've shared where I would just get in my car, drive around, try to think things through, anything but pick up a drink. And that included sometimes being alone in my house or my apartment and crying over whatever it was. But I didn't pick up a drink. So when I hear other people blaming everything around them for them not being able to get sober, well, I'm certainly not going to follow somebody like that. Now, there are some people that if, relapse, or I hate using that term, relapse, chose to pick up a drink or a drug again, and after time got some sobriety, and realized that no matter what, they can't put a drink or a drug in them. So they don't make excuses anymore. And I'm sure there's different ways they've helped themselves get through the trying times. But there's really not much you can do when times get tough. It's either you reach out to somebody or you handle it all yourself, and that's it. But putting down AA, blaming AA or some other outside source for you not being able to get sober and stay sober is just bullshit. And then you want people to follow you when you can't even accept your own responsibility for your own sobriety when you counted on it? But now you figured a way where you can make a few bucks for telling people your story. You're hiring a marketing agency to make it sound good. I mean, there's women now doing these shorts or the videos. They're like 60 seconds long, and they're dancing and they're moving and dressed pretty sexy. It's like, follow me if you want to get sober. Look at me. It's all bullshit. Why would you follow somebody like that? This isn't a joke. Getting sober, getting clean is no fucking joke. People die because of the drug abuse and the alcohol abuse. This is no joke. This ain't no fucking fad for people. And all these, look at me, I'm awful cool because I'm sober. The last thing I feel about myself is that I'm cool because I'm sober, because I don't drink. No, I'm not proud of some of the shit that I did in my life when I was drinking. And I knew many times that I shouldn't drink, but I still drank. And when I got into trouble, it was all on me. It was all on me. I couldn't blame anybody else. So when I listened to these people and thinking this is a joke, it's some joke, or they got a new hack that's going to help you. It's real. I feel embarrassed for these people. I truly feel embarrassed for them because they snoop that low to try to make some money focusing on a group of people that some really need some help. And they're willing to help them if you give them some money, and a lot of them charge quite a bit of money. One thing I know about AA, never ask you for a dime. Never once did somebody ask me for any money when I was in AA. During the meetings, they would pass the basket around. And if you wanted to throw a few bucks in there, you could. And if you didn't have the money or you didn't want to put anything in the basket, that was okay. Nobody asked for money. And yes, there was always somebody there when, the doors were open. If there was something going on, you can walk into the room, maybe have a cup of coffee or soda, talk to some people. There's also some 800 numbers that you could call if you needed to talk to somebody, maybe even late at night. And of course, you probably would meet some people there that would give you their number. If something was happening, you could reach out to them. So putting down AA because it didn't work for you. Now, they do some things that are really good, and some things, like I said, I don't like. I don't like the labels. I didn't like calling myself an alcoholic. I still don't call myself an alcoholic. I just don't like it. So I don't do it. But when I was in the rooms, I did because out of respect for everybody else, that's what they expect you to do, so I did it. That's all. And if I didn't like what somebody was sharing, I just tuned out. Okay, let them talk, whatever. No big deal, but I understood why I was there. I understood that I shouldn't put booze in me. I understood that I can no longer drink alcohol. And I also understood that it's all on me. Okay, if I choose to pick up, it's on me. So all this bullshit about people blaming everything else except them is all nonsense. So if you read an advertisement on Facebook and all these people are bashing other support groups, but they want you to follow them because they've got a new hack, exit out. Don't waste your time. If you want to get sober and stay sober, you got to remember this. Don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. If you're new or if you're struggling and you never went into an AA room, walk in and just sit down and listen. And I promise you one thing, you will be able to meet somebody there that you can relate to and get along with. I still have friends that I met in AA 31 years ago, and we're still friends. A lot of us still don't go to AA. Some people I know still go. Maybe not every day. They go once a week or whatever, but they enjoy it. But they get it. They don't drink. That's it. And they go live their life. But early on, you need a support group. If you go to a treatment center, well, take the 30 or 60 days that you're in the center and really think about what brought you there. So remember, when you leave the rehab facility, you got to do certain things in order to help you keep your, mind straight early on, especially early on, where, you realize you can't put a drink or a drug in you. And you got to be okay with it. And if you go to your church, listen, you can always find somebody in a church that'll sit down and talk with you if you're struggling. And there's nothing wrong with it. I know a few people that got sober through their church. And I'm talking these people were pretty, well into their booze and their drugs. And they used people at the church helped them. So there's help out there, but you got to want it. Do me a favor, don't pay attention to these people that are popping up on your Facebook feeds. They're not worth a dime, in my opinion. And keep coming back to the channel. Always remember, don't drink or drug no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what.
Think about your serenity. Be grateful for your sobriety. Staying sober with Papa Joe.